Brigadier, you testified yesterday that you were appointed the lead investigator in this matter. Now, before your appointment as the lead investigator, was there a lead investigator before you?
That is correct, my lord, and it was then Brigadier Shibiri. He is now a Major General Shibiri. Major General Shibiri is the head of the national head of the organized crime in Pretoria.
Brigadier Shibiri
As far as you could establish, did he take any of the witnesses' statements in this matter?
His team, my lord, so he was the lead, but I know that some of his members did take statement, and I got that from the briefing, because one had to consult with him after this mandate was given to me. And that he was actively involved in the investigation. In fact, my lord, he was the lead investigator, but the coordinator, the person that was assigned to coordinate the investigation was Brigadier Sinono, who is now a Major General in the provincial office of the Hawks in KZN. He was the coordinator of the team. General Shibiri was the lead investigator.
Brigadier Sinono, so Major General KZN, Brigadier Shibiri
You testified yesterday that Warrant Officer Makubo deposed to the A1 statement in the docket Phosphorus 3751 of 2019.
Yes, my lord. I said, actually, according to the case system, he is registered as the complainant. I was trying to find, to get my hands to the copies of 375, but he is registered as the complainant in that case, my lord.
Yeah, Warren Makubu, Officer Makubu, what about the statement, the 375 of 1 of 2019, Pendulo, which Yebo, Futiga, Uyena, Obonagala, Uyena, Umangadi, Uloloda.
You also mentioned the second name that is associated with the docket, the name of Lieutenant Colonel Buthelezi. Do you know if she also deposed to an affidavit in docket 3751 of 2019?
Yes, I've seen her affidavit, my lord.
Lieutenant Colonel Buthelezi, now why Bala, affidavit and Utiga Umfagazi, why board?
I just wish to refer you to a proposition that was put to Lieutenant Colonel Mangena by Mr. Ngumezulu during the proceedings of the 28th of August 2024. It's on page 18. From line 7, Mr. Mgomezulu, are you aware that Warrant Officer Makubo is investigating the docket 375/1/2019? Are you aware of that? Close quotations. Now, according to this proposition, Warrant Officer Makubo is the investigating officer in Phosphorus 375/1/2019. Now, in the light of your evidence now, is it normal for someone who deposes to an A1 statement that is now the complainant statement to also be an investigator of that case?
So, my lord, no. So, to maintain objectivity, you will try to separate the IO from the investigator. It's a question of objectivity, because then you become, you are a complainant and you also conducting investigation. There are instances where police officers open cases. I've done it myself, but you will do the best that you can that the investigator is not necessarily a complainant, because there will be conflict. You can imagine when the IO collects evidence on his behalf, to sort of support his narrative as the complainant. So it's a practice that is not normal. That's what I would suggest.
Lieutenant Makubo, why says you looked about the look at 375 of 1 of 2019. Babu Zola from Nesutu, I was in dog, what in Buzola now. Into yenzeka yini ukuthi umuntu owumangali icaleni aphinde kube uyena owumbuka umsession. Athi yebo amaphoyisa ayakwazi ukuvula amacala, kodwa ke akukuhle ukuthi ke umuntu owumangali nanoma eyiphoyisa phinde kube uyena owenza uphenyo kulolu daba alumangale.
You mentioned yesterday that you made copies of the docket in this matter, First Lord's Case 63610 of 2014, and gave copies thereof to each member of your team. Are you aware if Warrant Officer Makubo ever carried the original docket of 63610 of 2014?
No, my lord, he never carried that docket. When I ordered that copies must be made, I also gave a specific instruction that I will retain the original. So at no stage was the original given to any members, not only Warrant Officer Makubo. They only had copies of the docket 636 of 10/2014.
And I'm a copy of docket 636 of 10/2014 enziwa kodwa ke originally iyagcinwa ufakazi akaze kuvunyelwe Warrant Officer Makubo akwazi ukufinyelela noma ukuba ne docket original yaleli cala le 636 of 2014.
But the copies, my lord, were not made in isolation of them. In other words, it was not a situation where you come and say, here are the copies. They've had access to see the docket original when it was given to us. And then I then gave a directive to say copies will be made, and then so that one can analyze, what they see, and then we can come together to see, to pave the way forward. I do know, for example, my lord, that when copies were made for Lieutenant Colonel Buthelezi, it was made in the office. I delegated one of my members who took the original there, and then she made copies herself from her office out of the originals. But the original docket was always retained by me to date, my lord.
Nana kwenziwa ama-copies mhlambe under njengo-Lieutenant Colonel Buthelezi baleli docket la i-original yayihlala ngazo zonke iy'khathi iy'namba zange idluliselwe kwabanye.
Sorry, my lord, just to qualify that, the only time the original will leave my hands is when it was sent to the DPP in Johannesburg first, when we were looking into this matter, and the DPP here in Pretoria. So those were the instances where it will go to the DPP and back to us, and DPP not holding and back to me, my lord.
I think it lena i-original yaphuma ezikhathini ey'mbili kuphela ezandleni zethu. Eyokuqala ukuthi ke yiswa ku-DPP okokuqala yaseke eGoli yaseke futhi ke idluliselwa ku-DPP Pretoria kodwa yasebuyela kithi.
And when Brigadier Shibiri, hope this is correct rank, when Brigadier Shibiri was still the lead investigator, do you know if Warrant Officer Makubo carried to the original docket?
No, insofar as so the correct rank, my lord, is Major General Shibiri now.
Major General.
That's his rank. Insofar as I know, Warrant Officer Makubo was not part of that investigation team, my lord.
Engikwazi ukuthi Warrant Officer Makubo akakaze abe omunye wethimba ilungu lethimba elali lenza uphenyo kulolu daba.
And original docket was under the control of both General Shibiri and General Sinono, because when we did the handing over, I had to sign the receiving of what was contained in the docket from them, my lord.
And futhi ke original leni yayiphethwe General Shibiri no General Sinono. Ngama ngithola mina khona ngayisayini there.
Now, in cross-examination of Lieutenant Colonel Mangena, Mr. Mngomezulu made the following proposition during the proceedings of 28 August 2024, page 18, regarding Warrant Officer Makubo, and it starts at line 14, Warrant Officer Mr. Mngomezulu. Let me get back into what we, as a version of Warrant Officer Makubo. He said he was called, that is now Warrant Officer Makubo, he said he was called to the scene. Upon his arrival, Cedric Sibia called him and asked him if he observed what has happened here, what could be his opinion. And Warrant Officer Makubo, after he assessed the scene, he told General Sibia then and there that there are no intruders that came there. And just before that, in the first 5 lines of page 18, Mr. Mngomezulu put the proposition to Lieutenant Colonel Mangena. He says, Warrant Officer Makubo was called by General Sibia that night. Upon his arrival, that is now upon the arrival of Warrant Officer Makubo, General Sibia called him aside to assist him to reconstruct the crime scene and certain questions. Now, the first question to you is, what is your comment regarding this proposition that Warrant Officer Makubo would have been called aside whilst on the scene by General Sibia and asked to reconstruct the crime scene?
So, my lord, I can't comment as to whether there was a discussion then between Warrant Officer Makubo and General Sibia on that day. I don't know if they met and what was discussed. What I can refer to is the docket, because it's a guideline in terms of the preliminary analysis that was done on the 26th of October 2014, my lord.
Umbuzo uthi uyazini ukuthi uGeneral Sibia wakabuzela uWarrant Officer Makubo endaweni esigameko ukuthi kamsize ngokubuyisa umqondo ukuthi kwangabe kwenzekeni lapha endaweni esigameko, nokuthi kambuzeke eminye imibuzo athi cha ngikwazi ukuthi ngaphawula nokuthi bahlangana noma khona ingxoxo ababanazo, kodwa ke ngingakuphawula ke mina nje ukuthi kwenzekani ngedocket.
Now, my lord, if you take the docket into account and the facts that I'm going to mention subsequent to this, that proposition is baseless, and I'll indicate why.
Okay, I must sibhekisisa idocket kuyabonakala ukuthi hayi lo mqondo lo awunasisekelo.
Now, number one, my lord, when you reconstruct a crime scene, and I'm starting there, you will require expertise, especially in this matter, because we have facts. It's not an assumption. You can look at what happened at this crime scene, the photos that were taken. There is blood, there's projectiles that was found. Logic dictates that you will expect blood splatters experts to be there, ballistic experts to be there, crime scene managers to be there. Those are experts who are qualified in the reconstruction of the crime scene. And that could not have been overlooked if you take into account the senior members of the police who were at this crime scene.
Uma sekuzozama ukuthi kubuyiswe ukuthi kwakwenzekeni kuleyo ndawo, kudingeka ukuthi kube nochwepheshe abazobheka indaba yey'thombe ngoba sasinabo ubufakazi besingabusebenzisa into njengey'thombe negazi nokuthi-ke futhi-ke inhlamvu lena yahamba kanjani. Bayakudingeka ukuthi kube nochwepheshe lapho njengoba kunaba mkantshubovu lapha emaphoyiseni kuleyo ndawo kwangeke kwenzeke ukuthi-ke zonke lezi zinto bakhohlwe noma bangazenzi ngendlela efanele.
Secondly, my lord, once that is done, in the docket, you would have found a statement from Warrant Officer Makubo indicating, for example, what he has done in the reconstruction of the crime scene. In this docket that we've disclosed to the defense, there is no such statement.
Futhi-ke edokethini wonke kunestatement sikaMakhubo esichazayo ukuthi yena wenzani nani manje asikho-ke leso statement edokethini.
Secondly, there is no statement by anyone who was there, my lord, on the 26th of October 2014, indicating that Warrant Officer Makubo was asked to reconstruct any crime scene.
Futhi-ke asikho statement esishoyo ukuthi siphuma kunanombani wayekhona kuleyo ndawo esigameke echaza ukuthi Warrant Officer Makubo wacela ukuthi akasize ukubuyisa ukuthi kwangebe kwenzekeni endaweni yobugebengu.
There is further no indication whether from Warrant Officer Makubo or any of the witnesses who were at the crime scene, including neighbors, that says they were interviewed by Warrant Officer Makubo on that day.
Futhi akukho lutho olukhombisa ukuthi Warrant Makubo noma ababekhona omakhelwane lapho ukuthi bacelwa ukuthi babuze imibuzo Warrant Officer Makubo.
Now, my lord, the only crime scene experts that we have in this docket, for the first time on the day of the incident, you will pick up Warrant Officer Musia, who was then subsequently followed by Muhlahlo on the following day, and the ballistic expert who came. On the 26th of October 2014, there is no indication except the local detectives, even them who were present. Their statements are there. There is no indication of this assertion that I'm being told about, my lord.
Futhi-ke la ngaphakathi kwedocket ama-expert abonakalayo ochwepheshe abobonalayo kubonakala lapha uWarrant Officer Musia olandelwa uMuhlahlo ngelanga elilandelayo. Akukho khona la kukhombisayo ukuthi ngomhla ka-26 lenyanga ka-October 2014 kwakungekho uchwepheshe wayekhona la.
And based on that, my lord, I see no basis because I'm guided by the docket. As I say, I was not there when this thing happened, but the docket does not tell me that such was done, my lord.
Njengoba mina ngithola konke engikubhekayo edokethini ngithi akukho la okukhona la edokethini okungikholela ekutheni ngicabanga ukuthi lokhu okubekiwe kungabe kwenzekile.
Thank you. If we can then get back to where we stopped yesterday afternoon.
Yeah, family. Today, let's talk about Gininda, how he has taken over the court. And the judge has got no power over Gininda. He enabled him from the very first day when he came to testify in court, on a trial, within a trial. He was winking to him. He was always defending him. But now it has come to a point whereby Gininda has understood that the judge is on his side. And now, Gininda has already taken the seat of the judge. He is running the court with BALOI. Whatever evidence that he's trying to bring up in this court, it doesn't make sense. He tries to be a lecturer. He tries to fight the defense. He tries to put a lot of shenanigans against the accused, of which it doesn't make sense. There is one thing that took my mind. He was not the first investigator of this case. There's none in his evidence that shows how he constructed the scene. Because even if he took over from another investigator, for him to understand exactly what happened to the scene, he should have gone to the scene and tried to craft everything to understand exactly how it happens, going through the evidence that he was given, so that he can easily get the picture. So it makes no sense. Because even the file, he didn't want to give it to Makubo, because he was the senior investigator, him, Brigadier Gininda. The only thing that he did, he tried to give copies. But what surprised me with everything, to whoever he took from the case, which is Major General Shibiri, was the lead team in this investigation before him. And he made him to understand when he took over, this is what we have done. And in that, there was Sinono, who was the coordinator in that case. That means there was a structure within the people who started investigating the case. They put a certain structure to know who is playing which role, who is playing which role, who is playing which role in this case, as they were going on investigating the 375. But with Gininda, we don't see those structures. Nobody, whoever was cross-examined by the defense, everything they say, they don't know anything. Everything, Gininda has to come and answer the question. That means Gininda was the sole investigator in this case. And he witnessed that when he told the court that the day the file left his hands or his desk, which is the original file, when it went to the DPP in Gauteng and went to the DPP in Pretoria, it's when it left his site and it was brought back to him. My question is, whatever was compiled in that docket, who investigated that? Who was the serious? Who are these people? Because Muhula doesn't know anything, and the other one doesn't know anything, because there were three now. Because excluding Makubu, there were three. It was Muhula and the other investigator, who, when they came in court, whatever question was posed by the defense, they will refer it to Brigadier Gininda, because he was the sole investigator. How can, in a so complicated case, you have just as one man investigating everything that is going on or whatever happened in that case? And in his testimony in court today, he is telling the court that according to what he has in the statements, he mentioned whatever he wants to mention in the statement. That gives him power to feel like he did investigate. I don't see him giving the court the real picture as to exactly what happened. That when I went to the scene or when I interviewed all the people who were inside the house, this is what they gave me. There were so much people in the house, and name them. He didn't name either of those people, including Longwe. How Longwe maneuvered out of the house, because now we understand that Senzo Mayiwa is the first person who went to fight the gunman, if there was any gunman. But before what Gininda has testified on, it's Longwe who tried to go and fight, and he realized that this intruder was carrying a gun, and he decided to run outside. We don't hear from Gininda painting a picture of Longwe. After Longwe was out of the house, where did he go? Where was Longwe's car parked? How did he went to the car to start the car? Because we understand they brought the tracker. When they brought the tracker, the car tracker, Gininda should mention that, okay, Longwe came out of the house, he went to his car, he started his car, he drove it out of and the lady who was sitting in the car outside Kelly's mother's place, the Spaza, did not see any car going out of there, but he saw people running out of there. That should be a question mark. How did Longwe drive? Where was the car parked of Longwe? Because Longwe was inside the house. He came out, he was the first one to come out of the house. Where did he go? Where did he get his car? Because we understand the tracker is showing him driving up to the hospital, wherever he ended up driving to. We are not getting that. But he is telling the court, because he is in control of the court now, he is telling the judge to ignore Makubu's evidence. Because Makubu's evidence, he tried to say there should have been experts that were there who were going to take blood samples, whatever, the bullets were there, photos and everything. But the scene, he doesn't tell the court that the scene was tampered with, because the scene was cleaned. The only blood that was there, the picture that he is talking about, there was no swap in that blood. The only thing there is blood that is shown in the pictures, no swap, because that question was posed by Mgomezulu or by, it's either one of the defense to Messiah, trying to understand, because there were other places that were not swapped. He didn't do any swapping. Even in the blood, he didn't even swap the blood to confirm that was Senzo Mayiwa's blood, because they knew that Longwe had shot himself. It will show Longwe's blood. It will not show Senzo Mayiwa's blood. So this guy is telling the court, because he is in control, he's telling the court to believe everything that he is saying. But we don't see him. He's saying Makubu should have, if Makubu evidence should be believed, he should have done 1, 2, 3 as I did, because he should say, he didn't do this, I did this. That's why I'm against whatever evidence that he's bringing up on 375. That's why I think 636 is a legit docket. There's nothing to compare with 375 and 636. He's just going to the statement and telling us there's no construction of any scene of crime. And another thing, he does not know what is in 375. But he's telling the court not to believe Makubu's evidence of 375. He gave his own reasons. That's where you see when somebody has cooked evidence, all his evidence rely on stain, they rely on evidence that was written down by the previous statements that were taken by the first investigators of the scene of crime. Where is his draft whereby he say, I constructed the scene of crime and this is what I found, but he doesn't bring that into the court. Kunzima uGininda usuthethe ijaji walisusa esihlalweni salo bano BALOI. I wonder ukuthi bamnikezani ujaji noma wathola envelope ebrown ingako enza kanje. Really, there is a lot behind this. You see the judge when Gininda talk, he will smile. He does. Where's part of it? Gininda talk about threats and said accused number 3 is the person who was in the house. How does he know that? And the judge come and support that to show that Gininda is already writing the judgment for the judge, because now the judge is no more Rata. It is Gininda, because Rata cannot go against Gininda. We don't know what he is scared of, but we will soon know, because something might happen. Because even by the time when Rata tried to shield, when Mnisi was opposing to, he objected to whatever he was saying, Gininda, then Gininda came hard and threw the judge under the bus. And you could see the forehead of the judge. He was like he was going to get a stroke or he was going to get a heart attack. His forehead started doing something that I could not even understand. That shows that the judge didn't know that I've put myself in such a problem. But the problem that he has put himself as a judge, it's hard to reverse it, because we don't know ukuthi envelope ayithola ingakanani, and kufuneka le envelope leyo ebrown ibiyele emuva ukuyibisela emuva because awufuna ukuyithatha le envelope, because these people, they don't want to lose their job. It's like tatile. This is what is happening here. Family, what do you think about all this? All this evidence of Gininda, he's taking it from other people's statement. There's no construction that he ever done. He's not talking much about Longwetwana who was in the house. He doesn't talk about all these people who were in the house, exactly what really happened. There's something really, really crazy going on in this court. But let's wait for the fireworks that will come when Mgomezulu, Advocate Mgomezulu, take the stand and start cross-examining Gininda. And all of the defense will roll this Gininda to zero. Because already they are showing the signal that we are tired of what you are doing. You are writing the judgment for our clients when you are not a judge. They already signal that to him. Family, what do you think about this? Drop your comment respectfully and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. No matter what, let's fix our justice system before we head for disaster. It's very hard what you are seeing this brigadier. How did he climb the ladder? There's a question mark. Because his evidence is baseless. It's got no base, but he always say the evidence of Buthelezi is baseless, giving stupid reasons. Anyway, family, let's drop our comment respectfully. Bravo.